together right. All right, and welcome everyone. I'm Jennifer Britton. I want to say thank you for taking time to join myself and my co-lead today, Evana Valle, is our team lead for group coaching here at Potentials Realized. We've got a really robust turnout, so I'll get you to mute yourselves today just for a little bit. You can always unmute as well. And this is one of our regular community calls. We do 2 to 3 of these a month, and our intent is to provide useful experiences as well as content for group and team coaches. So Potentials Realized, if you haven't heard of us, we are the creators of Group Coaching Essentials. I'm the author of Effective Group Coaching and From One to Many, Best Practices for Group and Team Coaching, plus many others, as you can see on the screen. And we really our mandate is to help group and team coaches do their best work. So let me bring my co-partner in crime today onto the voice. Evana, what do you want to say as we get started today?
I just want to welcome everyone and thank you for taking time out of your busy days and calendars to be here. And we hope that we bring value to this group coaching in action with values. So thank you. And let's jump in, Jen.
Absolutely. We've had a request to do more of these. So just a reminder, this is one of many calls. Last week, I talked about bridging the group and team coaching superpowers with work styles. So if you haven't heard the good news, I have a new quiz, and that is called the Team and Group Coaching Superpowers quiz. You can find a link at groupcoachingessentials.ca, but it will help you gain insights as to very high level, like what are your natural talents as a group or team coach? Very briefly, we really want to encourage you as a group or team coach, whether you've been doing this work for a long time or you're new to this, exploring your range and how you show up as a coach is so important, because in a group, there are so many diverse needs that exist. And so that in part is, I think, a nice segue to our conversation today. So Evana, I could say a little bit more. I think really you're going to get us to do something new right away. So I'm going to make sure you've got co-host abilities as well. And that way you can be also taking us to whiteboard is part of what we want. Wonderful. So how do we want to level set with today's conversation around values?
So I think when it comes to values, it's nothing new in the world of coaching. And yet, there's this perception that, oh, group coaching is so much different than one-on-one coaching, and how do I make that shift or that up level? And so today's conversation really is to kind of bring some best practices, but more than anything, do a demonstration. Let's actually reconnect to our own values and understand what it means. And also, Jen, to kind of, and for the group, also to kind of see how it is in action. This is really an active conversation. So how do we interact with the conversation of values in groups? And so we're going to demonstrate this. And this is really fun because people are off camera. And so this is a real, possible conversation that could happen in your group conversations, whether it be virtually or in the room. And so let's show, and then we can debrief and unlayer this. How's that sound, Jen?
I think that sounds really good. And I love that you're sending us or directing our attention to the fact that people could be on screen, they could be off screen. In today's world, it might also be a hybrid experience where you're in a room and you're bringing people in on Zoom or Teams, which is or is not working, right? We all know that tech happens. So I think we should dive right in. And again, I guess the framing, Evana, is to invite people to engage with this from their own perspective, right? We want you to be
absolutely
you. And feel free to share to whatever you want. Know that we are recording this and it will go out into the wider ecosystem. So with that in mind as well, please, it's your choice as to what you want to share. So Evana, take us away.
Thank you. So Jen, I'm going to ask you to stop sharing so that I can share whiteboard.
All right.
You can. Thank you so much. And this really is an invitation for people to step forward and play with us, because the power of demonstration is participation. So that does not mean you have to come off video to be seen, but we can still do this audio. And so this is very dynamic. And so what we're going to do is we're going to demonstrate the power of an exercise like value strings and how it actually plays out in groups, possibly even in teams. It could actually be done the same way, right, Jennifer? So this is a group coaching conversation. And so I'm going to share screen. And before I do that, I actually just want to ask, even a digital hand or a come off mute and say yes, who here has a value of learning? If you do, give me a digital hand. Give me a visual hand, whatever it is. I want to bring you into the room.
Look at that. I love that.
Right. And so for those of you who do, I would assert, knowing Kathy, I think Kathy would have a digital hand up. Kathy, do you have a value of learning? I'm sure you do, knowing you as well as I do. You're a lifelong learner. So what we're going to do now is I'm going to invite people one at a time, but not everyone. We're going to have 3 people, Jen. We're going to demonstrate this with 3 people. So I need 3 volunteers to step forward and play with me as we demonstrate value strings on the whiteboard, okay? And so I'm going to pull up a whiteboard, and here we go. And so the common word that we're going to actually do is we're going to explore the value of learning, okay? And so what does that mean is I'm looking for one person to step forward and share with me when you hear the value of learning, what are 3, 4, 5 adjectives that come to mind that actually represent learning for you? So who wants to play? If you want to play, put a digital hand or come off me and say, it's Kathy and I want to play. Whoever it is, I'm going to invite you to play with me and just share with me who wants to play. So Rita, you're the first one I saw. So Rita, when you hear learning, what are some words, some descriptors, adjectives that come to mind for learning with you?
I'm not sure if it's an adjective. I think it's more of a noun, but neuroplasticity.
And now you're testing my spelling. Okay. Awesome. Okay. What else?
Did you want to hear from someone else or me?
No, I need 3 or 4 from you.
Oh, okay, 3 or 4. So just an increase in neuroplasticity. I guess like a validation of self-worth through learning. Like as you master more skills, you validate your self-worth.
Okay.
I don't know how to describe that as an adjective. And
it's perfect. Not to worry.
And I guess just knowing that you're getting more skills. Like
I'm having tech issues here, and that's okay. We're just going to have another text box.
Would you like knowledge, Evana White, and I can be doing the typing, Evana, as you go?
Oh, that would be brilliant, Jen. Thank you. Okay. I love that. Thank you. So yeah. So anything else, Rita, that comes to mind?
Just like the concept of evolution. Like we're never static. Like
beautiful.
Therefore, our learning should never be static.
Wonderful. And so I'm going to just repeat these words back to you, okay? So when you hear increase of neuroplasticity, validation of self-worth, knowledge of skills, evolution, ever-growing evolution, what are you sensing in your body when you hear these words? What's your experience in your body just feeling these words?
Brain turns on.
So you have it in your head and turns on. What does that even mean, turns on?
Oh, okay. So to be clear, the light switch goes off. So all of a sudden there's increased brain activity.
Perfect. Okay.
I'll just say we're having a moment of tech happens, Evana. So I'd love to help you out, but I can't access my annotation for a change. So
that's okay, because you know what? This is actually group coaching in action, isn't it, Jen? And it's also when you're co-collaborating, this is what happens. So thank you, Jen. And thank you, Rita. I think Jay, that's a raise of hand. Jay, do you want to play?
Sure.
Awesome. So when you hear the word learning, what are the descriptors or the adjectives or nouns that that come to mind for you?
If I think about a person as the noun
Okay.
that there's learning related to, I think of the adjectives of happy.
Mm.
I think of the adjective of improved,
Mm.
and I think of the adjective hopeful.
Ooh, very nice. Anything else come to mind, Jay, for you?
No, that's what came to mind.
Perfect. Thank you for playing. And so, Jay, when I repeat back to you, or I mirror back to you, happy, improved, hopeful, what is the energy you're noticing in your body?
Where do I sign up?
Yeah, right. So I'm going to assert that that's a full body experience for you. You're like, it's an activator for you.
Right.
Would that be fair?
Yep.
Great. Thank you so much, Jay. And I think Melna, you are also willing and wanting to play. Is that right?
That's right.
Yay, Melna. Thank you for playing with us. So, Melna, when I say the word learning to you, what are some words, descriptors, adjectives that come to mind for you?
The first one is curiosity.
Mm,
And then there's excitement, growth, change.
growth.
Mhm.
Ooh. Yeah. Thank you. So, Melna, mirroring back to you, curiosity, excitement,
Mhm.
growth, and change. Where are you sensing those in your body?
In the heart and mind. It's just
Mm,
a lot of, like I said, excitement and joy. Ooh, what's gonna
yeah,
happen? Can't wait, kind of
yeah.
thing.
Beautiful. Beautiful. So, Jen, I'm just going to save this for the sake of saving it. And I'm just going to stop the actual share because I think we have what we need here. And I want to bring the group back on screen because I want to just talk about this exercise and what did people notice. So let me just close the whiteboard. So as a group, whether you were a participant or not, if you were a participant, I want to invite you to share what was your experience of being a participant in this collective exercise of value streams. And if you weren't a participant, what was your experience and what did you notice as just a viewer of or an observer of this experience? So who wants to share?
As a participant, I
Yeah.
think it forced me for that moment to get some clarity on what I would say. You know, you got feelings and thoughts in your head, but I needed to clarify it so I could communicate it.
Okay. Great. Thank you. Yeah,
And I
Jen.
would say, when I was listening to Jay and Melna and even Rita, like I was like, ooh, yeah, that totally connects with me as well. And I really appreciated how you took us to like the visceral sense. Where does it live? Where does it reside? Because with a word like learning, I think it was there for all of us, right? For me, it's like, yeah, it's not in my head. It's like a whole way of being. So
Yeah, thank you, Jen. And we'll debrief that what you just shared there in a couple minutes because I think it's very powerful that we touch on the layers of group coaching and even the layers of how we take our groups and the conversation deeper. And you brought it up in terms of the visceral. So thank you for sharing that. Who else wants to share? What was your observation? What did you notice? Maybe even some similarities. What did you see to be the connectors between the participants who shared? And maybe even the outliers or what was different? Because both are powerful. Who'd like to go? Rita, is that a raised hand to share?
I was about to.
Great.
I think the only thing is that I had to be a bit more conscious about my answers. Like I couldn't just use stream of consciousness thought to get to my answer. I had to be a little bit more conscious to think silently before sharing.
Yeah. I'm hearing that this exercise allowed you to come back to present present moment, some intentionality about what is learning. It allows that pause, that space, whether you are participating or even observing. Beautiful. Thank you, Rita. Anyone else wants to share any observations or experiences that you had through this exercise? Okay. I think someone's coming off screen. So
Yes.
did you want to share? Yeah, thank you.
Yes.
Would love to hear from you.
For me, it was a feeling of connection or connectivity when someone mentioned a word that was, going on in my mind, growth. And I was like, yes. And, I just felt that connection with the person who shared.
Yeah. And I'm going to actually go there now. So thank you for sharing that, because that is part of the group conversation, is whether you're an active participant or not, is finding those connecting points. So I'm gonna call you Adi. I'm terrible at names. I'm also very sensitive. Adi is fine. Thank you, Adi.
Yes.
And I appreciate your gracefulness with how I pronounced your name. But Adi's absolutely true. Like when we're in our group conversation, we want to think about those connecting points, whether you are a participant or even an observer, right? So that's a very beautiful point. And I'm going to go back to Jennifer's point. Is part of the group conversation, as much as it is in the one-on-one, is how do we actually support people to go deeper or in a deeper embodiment of what the conversation is. And I did that by helping people connect to their body in this exercise. Now, we're all coaches, we're all pretty seasoned in this conversation. However, when you're in your own group conversations, you really want to be cognizant of who's in the space and what's needed in the space. I took the liberty of choosing the value. Being coaches, I'm like, odds are we're learners, there's a commonality. And I also took the liberty of going into the deeper awareness. Now, some people might not be comfortable to go there, but some people might need activators. Like Rita was saying, she wanted to be activated into her head. Even Jay said he wanted to move. So for that situation, I could have actually going into what's an action you can take to activate this value of happiness or joy or validation of self-worth, whatever it is. So my point in this conversation is, when you're doing these conversations, regardless of values or what is, you really want to be present to what's needed in your client's space. And that's really powerful to be sensitive to. And obviously we took the liberty, but in a group coaching conversation or in a program, this wouldn't be your first call necessarily. It wouldn't be the best practice, because we're still building that trust, safety, and connection to allow these deeper conversations to happen. Jen, do you want to add anything?
Well, actually, I was just going to say, I think this is a great example, though. If you do start hearing early on in your groups that there is a common ground of values. And I think for groups like ours, all coaches, people are typically a lifelong learner. And so this could be an excellent exercise to build the collective connections, right? So I think one additional layer we could have gone down to extend the exercise is, after we heard from our first three, Evana might have asked all of us, let's go look at annotation. Yeah. Which one of these do you connect with as a member we haven't heard from yet? And that could have been a really interesting way for all of us to now step back and go, ooh, let me really think about what I can put myself around. So it could be later on in the process or early on, depending on who you're working with. But notice, you use the word, Evana, activate, right? Values activate us. They get us excited. So coaching is not only just about awareness, it's about that action piece. So to really wrap this up in a process standpoint, as coaches, we don't just want to get people to share it, but now what are you going to do about this, right? So Evana's modeling of the what, so what, now what principles, as we know with experiential education. So the what is the value? She then had people really look at, so what does that mean for you? And our last step of this learning from an experiential lens would be, now what are you going to do about it? And so maybe that's where Evana is going to take us next. right?
It is. Yes,
Oh, yeah.
absolutely. Absolutely. So what I'm going to do is, seeing that we all had our hands raised, I'm going to invite all of us to go to chat. Okay, whether your voice came in as a participant or not. And I want you to put in chat, what is your next step to activate your value of learning? So we'll just put this in chat. Great stuff. So for purposes of time, I'm going to read, Jen, everyone's sharing. And that way we can just keep going. So I just champion all of you for really participating and playing full out. So Rita shares, find something new to learn that scares me. Ooh, that's juicy, very juicy. Jennifer says she's going to dedicate time to journal on it. Jay Reed shares, appreciate any learning, large or small, as a move forward. Yeah, I think that's really important, Jay, that you touch on. Like, it doesn't have to be this massive step. It can be small, and it really is that edge of comfort zone. Beautiful. Melna shares, I've just signed up for training in a new area. Wonderful, Melna, thank you. Lorena says, do more reflective work on my coaching. Beautiful, beautiful. I share here, I'm going to explore more resources to deepen my kinesthetic aspect of coaching. Jennifer shares, actually, I do include learning. Someone sharing it about me. Actually, I do include learning in my journal already. Beautiful. Addie says, pause and reflect on what I have learned so far and find ways to share it. Lovely. I love it, Kathy. I'm going to think of something to unlearn. Yeah, that's powerful. And then Jay again says, it can be a 30-minute on a Tuesday, yes or yes. Wonderful. So again, really appreciate this. And I think what I'm inspired to share, Jen, if I may, is we really, without debriefing all the elements, we really did bring us back to the core competencies, right? We also touched on knowing, like really building our conversations around what are the needs of our clients' agendas, not our agenda as the group coach. We touched on the different ways of learning. How can we do that? Kinesthetic, audio, visual. We touched on that. Even Jen shared about the experiential education, the what, so what, now what. These are key important elements in group coaching, in actually introducing in the group coaching programs. And I'm going to add one more that we didn't touch on. The power of this conversation today was using the principle of less is more. Did you notice we didn't have a lot of content and slides? It was about the active conversation to allow the space to all participate in one way, shape, or form. Everyone participate. And that is what takes us out of training and facilitation and into group coaching. So Jen, on that note, I hand it back to you. And thank you everyone for your full participation.
Well, thank you, Evana. And again, I think such a great demo. You know, one of the things we've wanted to do here at Potentials Realize is more demos, really like bring to life, what does coaching in a group look like, sound like? And so notice the time, right? It took about 20 minutes to have that conversation. There are lots of layers. If you were with a group for 30 minutes or 60 minutes, you could really deepen that learning. The other thing Evana noted was this could be done with teams. So think about how you might iterate this with a team as well. So yeah, Evana, what did that spark?
May I add something? Yeah, because we touched on it at the start, but we didn't actually talk more about this. Like, you want to think about too in your groups, whether they're in the room, whether they're virtual. I think this was a beautiful demonstration of honoring people, whether they came off video or not, but also in a room. How can you do this value share? if the group was large, if we had more time, we could actually do breakouts or pair share and have people do their own value strengths and come back and debrief it. So there's a lot of different ways. I think that the beautiful example of this is getting everyone part of the conversation, whether they're a participant or not. And that really is the group coaching conversations, going layers deeper and allowing people to actually take something with them from the conversation and apply it back into life.
Fantastic. Well, Evana, I'm looking at Rita on the one side of the screen. So appreciative that, this is an exercise we've been talking about since January of 2006 at Group Coaching Essentials. And I can't tell you how many people said, but what about value string? How would I do value string? So this is a great, real example of how to expand that out. So a big thank you to you, Evana, because we cover it, but we don't really cover it in depth at Group Coaching Essentials. Just curious if there are any questions or comments from those of you that joined us, because you're all coach practitioners from what I can tell around the room, whether you're working one-on-one, group, or team. So any questions for us that we can really incorporate before we go to wrap up our Tuesday community call? All right, so good news is we hope you'll come back. Jay mentioned maybe learning on a Tuesday. So this is one of many calls that we do Tuesday, 12 noon to 12:30. I think next week, if memory serves me correct, we move into the landscape of team coaching. So we'll be doing something a little bit different next week. But if you're interested in learning more and you haven't yet joined us for Group Coaching Essentials, these are the types of things that we look at. How do you activate groups on all different levels? You may know that we also have a new certificate program. So as team coaching continues to expand, we're finally weaving together all the different courses that people are like, how does this fit together? So now you can take an a la carte course like Group Coaching Essentials, or you can also do a 70-hour certificate in group coaching or team coaching. So with that, we hope that regardless of whether you join us just for these community calls or for one of our CCE approved programs, that you got some good value and you can take something to apply in your work right away. Evana, I'm going to give you last comments for the day. I'll just do one last plug. If you haven't taken the group or team coaching superpower quiz yet, that's another layer to look at this exercise. So Evana, what's your superpower style? Have you done the quiz yet?
I have. I'm the lighthouse.
Ooh.
So really holding the space of values and expansion. And yes, you can probably speak more to it. I'm still getting acquainted to it myself, but that's my superpower. And I'm honored to be, Yeah, so
you can find it. And as you learn more about the different superpowers in groups and team coaches, first of all, you can check it out at /bit.ly/GT coaching superpower. So again, I'll put that in chat, but if you're listening to this, you'll be like, can't she say it again? So it's https://bit.ly/GT coaching superpower. And that will take you to this 2-minute quiz. Again, it's created to help you think about how you naturally coach. And as you heard Evana say, Evana is known as what is the spiral lighthouse coach, learning and creating learning on layers. Imagine going up the lighthouse, seeing this from all different angles. So Evana, I think you modeled it beautifully for us today. With that, any final comments or questions before we go to wrap up and have you out the door for your half-an-hour lunch and learn?
I think, if I may, I think it's really important as coaches that we really, this call really was a demonstration call, which means it's an active call. It's one thing to know these things. It's another thing to really put them into place. And so regardless of your team coaching, group coaching, is really to get these things, get these activities, these tools in your bones and put them into practice. That is how we actually have the impact that we all have as coaches in the world.
And I'll just add in something that Kathy, who's also a member of our team, has put in. So also, Kathy wrote, also for those looking for additional support on their practice, check out our new offering of supervision. So we offer coaching supervision as well. We heard it from, I think, Ade, you talking about the pause. How often are we stopping to really look at what we're doing and the impact of how we're doing it? So if you're interested in coaching supervision, we meet once a month. It's a monthly conversation. Just note for those that are probably going to be looking towards doing the ICF advanced certification for team coaching, it will be a requirement in the short coming, probably in the new year, that will be announced. So you can check that out. And Rita also is mentioning, yes, I shouldn't forget, we explore activities like this in light of Reconnecting Workspaces. So we've got the Reconnecting Workspaces certified coach training starting tonight, Tuesday, October 11th at 6 p.m. Cohort 5 of coaches who are like growing their skills for really creating work success today. And so Melna's asking, is there a certificate for group coaching? Yes. So you can do the stream, the 70 or 125 hours of advanced CCE training as a group coach or a team coach. There are most of the courses overlap, Melna, but you can decide, do I want to go more as a group coach, more as a team coach? And so if you're looking for more information on that, groupcoachingessentials.ca. And any of us are happy to have a conversation. It's a new certification or certificate. And again, for years, we've offered group coaching essentials, the advanced practicum, etc. And now this is a way to formalize that learning process. Melna, did you have a question?
ICF certified?
Yeah, ICF CCEs, yeah. So we've been offering ICF CCEs for the last 15 years, all ICF CCEs, which for those of you that might be an ACC, PCC, MCC, of course we know that's what you need. So with that, thank you very much. We hope to see you. And just a reminder, October the 17th next week. So we're going to bring teams in. Team Coaching and Focus is actually November 1st, but next week is fostering belonging and 3 other core areas for work success today. Fostering belonging. So if you can think of what we did today in the demo, we'll be talking more specifically about real ways in a group, in a team, to be fostering that sense of connection, which, as we know, is so critical. Thank you, Jay, for being here today. I'm glad that it was an excellent session. A big thanks to Evana, who is our team lead for group coaching. Lorena, I hope that you'll come back. Ade is an alumni, if I may say that. And Ade, it was great to see you. And I love how the distance can, I know you're a little later in the day, so good to see you. And of course, we've got Rita, our team lead for remote, and Kathy, team lead for team coaching. So with that,
And
everyone,
Lorena as well. Jennifer, Lorena.
it is time to go. Have a great day, and we'll see you soon. Have a good one. Thanks, Evana.
Bye, everyone.
See you soon. Bye-bye.